faith stories.
My now wife Chelsea was like, "Hey, you're coming to church with me on Sunday," and I was like, "All right, I've been looking at the Bible. Let's do this."
Fishing memories.
When I first started, I was just fish, focus on the fish. And I see the kid catch a fish, I'm like, good job, perfect, awesome. And then he goes up there, and I'm like, we're catching slot snook, and this kid's up here going, oh, the breeze. I'm like, this is exactly what it's about.
Meaningful conversations.
You have to stay in the Word. You have to have a good support system. You have to know what the end goal is. You have to know who God is.
Positivity. This is the Faith and Fishing Podcast. With your hosts, Cam Steele.
If your identity is you're an angler, whenever you're not doing well in the water, that's whenever you can't be content.
And Robert Randolph.
And his timing is perfect. We might not always agree with it, and we might not always understand it at the moment.
Bring you interviews with some amazing guests from the fishing community and discuss all things to do with fishing and their faith. Welcome to the Faith.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Faith and Fishing Podcast. I'm Cam.
Hey, and I'm Robert.
And we are at least close to being back. We'll get more into that in just a minute, and we'll kind of give you guys an idea of where we've been, what's been going on with us, why there hasn't been an episode in so long. But first, I wanted to go through and really thank sponsors and stuff, and kind of give them their due, since it's been so long since they've been plugged. We haven't done anything on social media. We haven't done anything on the podcast. We haven't done anything on YouTube or anything like that. So just wanted to give a shout out to Savior Outdoors. If you're someone like me who is prone to dropping stuff, Savior Outdoors has devices that they attach to your fishing rod butt. They have some that attach to your action cams. If you're a bow fisherman, they have them for your bow fishing bows. And then they have them that are just, on a key ring that can attach to anything. They're pressure sensitive, so that you don't have to worry about them deploying in a rainstorm, or if you just dip your rod in the water or something like that. But what happens is there's a salt bobbin that gets dissolved. The spring shoots out the float. It's attached to your rod by 60 feet of line. So you find your float, pull it up, you get your rod back if you drop it in the water or whatever else it's attached to. So definitely go check that out, and use code FNFP15, and that will save you 15%. And that is at savouroutdoors.com. That's SAVUR outdoors.com. Robert, you wanna hit Omnia?
I can. Omnia. That's like a left jab right out of the blue right there. Sure. Hey, Omnia Fishing. I mean, it's the deal for online tackle retailers. Check out all their selection they have. Those guys over there, will get you stuff fast, and then check out their app. I mean, go on their app. There's all kinds of stuff. I can't remember exactly. I think it's the pro membership, but it's all kinds of things on there. It's water temperatures. It's lake conditions, water temperatures. The app is just packed full of stuff. So Omnia Fishing for all your online tackle needs. And there's a ton of fishing reports on there for your local lakes. Go in there, see what guys are catching. There's places where people make bait suggestions on there. And then it's also, you can do the same thing. You can go in and become a member and move up through the ranks as you do your own fishing reports on the lakes that you fish. And then you can earn points to get tackle as well. So Omnia Fishing, you guys check it out.
Yeah. And do you remember the promo codes for?
No, see, I was thinking a while ago, like, that's pretty good that you remember the promo codes, because I wouldn't. So no, I don't.
So FNF10 is going to get you 10% off of your order at omniafishing.com. If it is your very first order, use promo code FNF15 and it will get you 15% off. So that is a one-time deal, but it gets you a little extra just for being a Faith and Fishing listener. So jadesjigs.com is where you can go to get your lead-free finesse tackle. So, your EWG heads, your Ned rigs, all that good stuff with no lead in them. They're a tin bismuth alloy. So they are super lightweight, and they are better for the environment and for you. So check that out, jadesjigs.com, and use code, I think it's FNF10 at checkout there. And especially now, like now that they've come out with the micro D-bomb for missile baits, man, all of a sudden finesse fishing is doable. But yeah, so check them out. Mr. B Lure Company, mrblurecompany.com. You've heard us talk at length about their bladed jigs. That's what I call my personal best bass on. And, they've got flipping jigs. They've got, your Arky style. They've got swim jigs. They've got swim jigs with an underspin on them. They've got just underspins. They've got, now they do A-rig packages where it's, I think it's 5 unpainted jig heads so that you can, and they're unpainted so that they can offer it a little bit cheaper for you. And they can, you can get those packages and not completely break the bank on a rig setup. So use promo code. It's Faith and Fishing Pod.
Sounds good.
I think that's right.
Well, you know what? At the end of the show, when it scrolls up, you can get all of the codes there. So if we missed one, you can, if you're watching it on YouTube, you can go and watch it scroll up at the end just in case you missed one or in case we missed one.
And if you're listening on the podcast platforms, it lists them off during the outro as well, so you can hear them, not just see them. So,
and they're probably in the description somewhere, I'd say.
For sure.
Yep. There you go.
You want to hit another one?
Yeah. You want me to do Naqua?
Sure.
Yeah. So Naqua, those dudes have some great lighting for paddleboards, kayaks underneath your paddleboard or kayak. That's kind of what got them started. They branched out and do all types of batteries now. I have absolutely worn out a battery pack. I think it's a 10 amp hour battery pack that I have. That's Naqua. My kids use it all the time. My daughter's addicted to it. It basically, she just keeps it with her phone all the time because teenagers just stay on their phone more than they should. So she always has that plugged in, trying to keep that charged up. But I use it all the time too. Naqua battery packs and Naqua lighting. You guys check them out. And I don't know the code for that either. So.
I don't know it off the top of my head, but I will check on it. And like you said, listen to the end of the episode and it'll get you up there. And then Get Outdoors Pedal and Paddle in Greensboro, North Carolina, our kind of premier paddle shop. I know there are others that will say otherwise, but in terms of customer service, selection, and just everything else, they're the best in North Carolina, and they are probably one of the largest in North Carolina. And if you're a biker, they've got that there as well. We don't have a code for them, but they do most of their stuff in person anyway. So, that kind of does it for our sponsors. And I will say, check out CarolinaWatersNC.com. So Carolina Waters is a company that I work with, and in addition to the UPF shirts and the casual wear, the hats and stuff, they asked me, or I guess they asked everybody what was something that we would like to see them do. And my suggestion was gloves, like the half finger UPF gloves. And they worked on that, and I got to see an idea of mine come into fruition. So we have those there now. So CarolinaWatersNC.com, go check out those gloves and the UPF shirts and stuff. Use promo code STEEL15. So that's STEELE15, and that'll get you 15% off. All right. Well, so with all of that being said, Robert, how's it going, man?
Man, it's going pretty good. So I'll start out this kind of how's it going, where have we been show, and just say, that I don't know. We may end up changing the title of it, but when we have to start an episode, we have to start in a title to actually start the episode. So I put the title as Time Warp because we just time warped from maybe late March or late May. Is that when it was? Mid-May?
Mid-May.
April? Mid-May. Yeah. And now we're to almost the last week of August. And so there were no episodes of the Faith and Fishing podcast. And a lot of that falls on my shoulders because we knew Cam's family was having a new addition with having a baby. What we didn't know was the company that I worked for was going to get bought out around the same time. And then there was a big changeover in jobs for me. And so I went from working not a lot of hours to way more than I should. And I'm still doing that now, although we've got a little bit better balance the last few weeks. But it's been an adjustment for me back to longer work weeks. I'll just leave it at that. And I kind of dropped the ball on getting these episodes out, which we didn't know that was going to happen when we kind of said, hey, Cam's going to go on hiatus to have his second child. And I thought I would be able to do that. And I did try to reach out to some people, try to set some things up. And just with my work schedule and everything that was going on, I didn't do anything on anything. I didn't do hardly any fishing. I think I've been out twice since then. I don't think I've posted one YouTube video. I seldom comment on Facebook or Instagram stuff at the moment. There's just no spare time. So hopefully now my middle child has gone to college at UNCW this past weekend. Her first day was today. And my oldest is back at NC State. They were both here for the summer. My youngest is still here. He'll be a junior at Willow Springs High School, still doing a ton of sports. But having those two back in school kind of lightens the load a little bit. And then I think my work will progressively, as I get more and more of these new responsibilities that I have, kind of divvied out to the guys that I work with and girls that I work with. My workload will lighten back to a reasonable amount. So that is the rundown for me. I won't go over the couple of times I did go out fishing yet. I'll save that till after Cam tells what he's been doing for the past 3 months.
Yeah. So it's funny that you titled it Time Warp. I was going to title it, Is This the End of Faith and Fishing? And just kind of let it be a clickbaity title. So I guess Robert wins this time. But no, this is not the end of Faith and Fishing. Like Robert said, we ended up having an addition to our family as expected. He came just a tiny bit early. He was like a week early. So, I mean, he was still a big boy though. I mean, we're talking 9.5 pounds and 21 1/4 inches. And just, I mean, he's still a big boy it was funny at like I think at 4 weeks, he was wearing a 3 to 6 month onesie.
That's crazy.
And right now at 3 months, he's in a 6 to 12 month onesie comfortably. He's a little over 16 pounds now. And just a big boy. He's starting to smile now. So that's always exciting. Load of hair. And he is fitting right in. Henry is, he's doing well. He's enjoying being a big brother. There are times where you can tell, he feels like he's not getting what he should, and he's acting out a little bit, but that's to be expected. For the most part, he's been doing fantastic. And, Caitlin is healthy and doing well. So we are all good. We are tired. I will say Theo fell right in line with Henry in terms of sleep. So he has been good in that aspect. He's not a daddy's boy, at least not yet. Got a long way to go there, but yeah, was able to take Henry out and do some exploring at different parks and stuff, and take him out on the kayak a couple times. And it was funny, I told him, I was like, all right, it's going to be a little wobbly. And he sat down and it said, it's not wobbly, and stood right up. And
There you go.
there's that lower center of gravity and everything. He'd take his dip net and dip it down into the primrose and stuff, and catch mosquito fish and water bugs and stuff and all that good stuff. Just letting him explore a lot. And so that is where we have been in terms of that. And I mean, we're just, I'll be honest with you guys. I was very close to hanging up the podcast and saying, Robert, if you want to run with it, you can, but I'm out. But I felt like, and Caitlin and I talked about that to the point where I told Caitlin a little while ago that we were going to start recording again. She said, I thought you were out. That's how seriously I was considering it. But truth be told, I missed it a lot, because it is like my main source of connection with other people right now, outside of my family and work, and where I actually get to choose to connect with people. So or at least choose the people that I connect with.
And then block the ones that we don't like their comments. So,
but yeah, we, that's where I am at in terms of, we're coming back. That's why I was out. That's why Robert was out. And whenever I found out what Robert was going through at work, I was like, gosh, what a perfect storm in terms of timing. But at the same time, it's like, I don't feel like Robert dropped the ball at all. So things did not work out, but it wasn't because he couldn't handle it. It was because you get 24 hours a day, and you've got to sleep and eat at some point. So,
and to say the buyout, and our company got bought out, and to say that the new company's merger and acquisition team dropped the ball would be saying it lightly. And that was a lot of the problem, was the whole shift over, and we're still struggling with it every day. And we started on their system May the 6th, and we're still struggling with it today. And I'm not one that likes to leave things undone. And so every day that I've left work, it's usually after 12 or 13 hours, and stuff is still left undone. And I don't even feel good about going to work or coming home, and then I still run my other business on the side. So when I get home, I go cut grass for a few hours, and then usually it's dark, and I grab a sandwich, which I just finished eating while we were doing kind of the pre-show, and then I go to bed, and then get back up at 4:30 and do it again. And so, but I think as things will get divvied out, and I didn't mean to step on your toes, so go ahead. But that is kind of the perfect storm of, I never saw that coming, and my whole job changed. I don't even do what I did in February and March anymore. I'm over that department, but somebody else does my old job now. So, and that job was really, really easy, but I kind of took advantage of that while I could, and I fished a lot at work, and I did a whole lot of easy things before the buyout, and then that's not the case anymore. So,
yeah, for sure. So I wanted to take just a minute and kind of give y'all an idea of what's coming next, and what you can expect from us, what our goals are going forward, and all that good stuff. So this episode's going to come out pretty soon after we record it, and then there's going to be another little break. It won't be as long of a break, but it'll be a little break while we get some interviews recorded and kind of stockpiled, so that if we do miss an episode or miss a week with Robert's work, my family stuff, or my work, because I do have an on-call week every 5 weeks, or whatever else life throws at us, it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't get an episode. So we're going to be doing that. Now, personally, Robert may disagree with me on this. I haven't talked this over with Robert yet, but personally, I would like to see us steer more towards the average Joe angler. Not necessarily. It's not that I don't want to have tournament anglers on the podcast, but I want to do less tournament talk, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
We're not a tournament recap show. We're not a news show. We're here to get people's stories out there. So I do want to do less tournament talk. And I would love to get more multi-species saltwater, not necessarily bass anglers on. Not that, I do love the bass fish. I like bass fish because it's what I know. But I'm starting to get a little burnout on the culture of bass angling right now, especially on the tournament side.
Ooh,
so
I hear you.
Yeah. Not going to get into too much of that right now, but I am, finding myself, whenever I do have the opportunity, whenever I go with Henry and fish a worm under a bobber, I'm having so much more fun. And it's not just because we're catching more fish, but it's getting back to the simplicity of it, and the getting back to the roots of it, and more of the connecting side of it. There's less pressure to be something or someone or catch them this particular way or anything like that. Robert, you agree, disagree? What are some of the things that you would like to see us focus on in the near future?
No, I like that. I think we can still brush on the tournament and the kind of the buzz around that. And I think focusing on some multi-species stuff, I like that. I've actually gotten into more of that with going to Oak Island a little bit, fishing down there. I think the bass, it still wins out as of this moment. But I don't know how much longer the bass are going to hold up to the redfish and the flounder. I really hadn't got on the trout really good yet, but I know that's probably coming as well.
That's probably just around the corner in terms of, you know,
Yeah.
their big bite being in that, you know, October, November time frame.
Yeah, so we're gonna see how that goes. Also want to go offshore. I still haven't done that yet, but the fall king mackerel bite is pretty good. Just right off the beach there in Oak Island. So yeah, I like that, and I like the idea of average Joe because there's a whole lot more average Joe fishermen out there than tournament folks. And then you get the mixture of people like we're average Joe fishermen who like to dabble in the tournaments, and you know that's cool too because you know everybody has that little competitive spirit. So yeah, I'm good with that. I think it's a great idea.
Cool. Let's kind of talk about some personal fishing adventures that we've had lately. About the only thing that I can say in terms of like me personally was I fished the Raleigh Rumble in July. And it was lousy. A major storm front came through the night before, and I don't know if you went back towards the creek whenever you went to demo boats up there, but there's this like you can see it from Google Earth. There's this island at the mouth of the creek, and normally that island has, I don't know, 6 to 10 feet of shoreline before you get to the trees. I paddled through the trees that day.
That's crazy.
In a foot of water. And I heard fish all day long. I couldn't get to them because they were like the creek had spilled its banks and I just couldn't get to where everything was. But the carp were thick. I snagged 2 carp in one cast on a crankbait. I grabbed a hold of one and then grabbed a hold of another one and then pulled out of that one too. It was insane. Watched a fly fisherman get a carp, and I was like, oh man, that looks fun. I ended up catching one fish on the day, and it was 9.5 inches long. So not submittable for our tournament. I felt the bite and I set the hook, and that poor fish went flying out of the water. But yeah, that was about it. I will say I still on the fence about how I feel about the feel free. I like that I can take Henry with me comfortably. There's enough space for us. There won't be for much longer, but there's enough space for us right now to go out, and I think the main thing is it does have a lot more fishing features, and there are some things I really like about it, but it is just so much heavier and slower on the water.
Yeah.
And I haven't quite convinced myself that the payoff is there for the fishing features versus the thing. I will say having horizontal rod storage is nice.
Yeah.
But
well, you can go in either one of those bona fides for a couple of times, and then you'll get back in yours and be like, oh, this thing is so light. And man, I love this thing. That's how you fix that. You just go to a heavier kayak and then back to the feel free and problem solve. Yeah, you'll be good.
Yeah, that would work probably. How about you, man? I know you've been down at the coast a little bit.
So I missed that because I knocked my earbud out.
Nice. You're starting to sound like me over there.
Yeah.
I said, but yeah, how has fishing been going for you? I know you haven't gotten out much, but I know you've gotten to go down to the coast a little bit.
Yep. So our house stayed rented out most of the summer, but at the front of the summer, I did get blocked out a weekend, and me and some of the guys from CCKF Mitch, the tournament, the trail director, and Jason Dickerson and Michael Wiggs all went for a long weekend. I think it was either the last week of May or the first week of June. It was around that area sometime. And we had a blast. We caught a lot. I don't even remember how many flounder, some large flounder. I ended up catching one, I would say 2.5 foot red. So it was as big as my upper torso, and it was that was on a topwater early in the morning. And there is video of that, and I will edit that at some point and post it because it drug me for a while, and it drug me up into the marsh, and it was quite the battle, and that was a really fun fish to catch. And then some of the flounder that I caught too were, probably 20 inches. I think Mitch probably caught the biggest one, but everybody caught fish. It was a really good weekend, and then the rest of the summer worked, and then my youngest son still plays a travel ball, so we're doing that some on the weekends. The house stayed rented out, and we just got back this week from we did the last week. I took vacation. I was finally able to say, you know what, I'm put everything on hold for a week, and although I've spent the last 2 days unraveling, or last 3 days now, unraveling from my vacation the week before, everything that didn't get done. It was basically, I'm just doing 2 weeks worth of work in this week. So, and I still worked while I was on vacation about 4 hours a day doing conference calls and stuff that nobody else can do at the moment. And I'm okay with that. At least I was doing that from the porch at the beach, and had a cup of coffee and kind of did it at my own pace. And but during that week, I was able to catch some more redfish, not quite the size as earlier in the year, because we've just had so much rain that all the water down there is super brown, super tannic, and nobody really was catching a whole lot of fish. So I was just I was happy to be able to catch fish every time I went out. It wasn't a ton, and they weren't big, but there were still a couple of 17, 18-inch reds, and I didn't catch any flounder this time or trout, although there were other people that were out that said they were catching quite a bit of flounder, but I never got on that bite like we did earlier in the year. And that's the only 2 times that I've been fishing, besides earlier in the year when we were up to date on the podcast, so you can go back and listen to that. Just a couple of bass tournaments early on, but nothing else. I haven't even been going to the work pond. I'm sure there are some big fatties laid up over there because I had them pretty pegged down, and they're probably in the same places, but that water's been blowed out with all the rain and stuff too. So that could have totally changed. I haven't even walked back there to see, but that's it. What about you?
Well, it was just that one tournament, but yeah, let's talk about Hurricane Debbie, or I guess it was Tropical Storm Debbie whenever she came through here. So yeah, down at the coast right now, they are. I don't know if they've still dealing with a lot of flooding and high river water, but I don't even know that I would use the word tannic. I mean, it's turbid, right?
Yeah, it was. It was. I mean, it was really clear brown water, and
Okay.
you're used to up here when it rains really hard, you see the brown muddy water. That wasn't the case. It was brown. It looked basically like iced tea. That's the best I can describe it. And it was the whole intercoastal was that way. All the creeks leading into the intercoastal, and it was the same way on the beach, because where we go to the beach. The way the tides and the currents go, the Cape Fear dumps out at Southport, and it dumps out on the eastern tip of Oak Island, and then as that current, it goes all the way down the beach at Oak Island. So all of that river water was, I could see some seaweed and stuff probably a quarter mile out from the beach, and I think that may have been where you got into some better water, maybe a quarter or half mile, maybe even further than that. It may have just been some seaweed lines that had blown in. But definitely anything close to the beach was that brown, tannic looking water, and all of the backwater and everything was. And then I go across the Deep River and the Hall River every day going to Sanford, and the Deep River is back to normal looking water, normal levels, but the Hall, where they let it out at the bottom of Jordan, is rolling. So they're still trying to lower the level at Jordan. I couldn't even imagine to say how much water is going through the Hall right now, but it's a lot, and it's still way up.
Yeah, I know after Debbie came through, trying to remember, we ended up going to the zoo. I guess it was that Saturday after, maybe that Sunday after. We went to the zoo and we crossed over Lake Jordan, and man, it was insane. And we saw the post from Lake Jordan that day, that it was 13 feet high. Like the boat ramps all were closed. Everything was closed. The areas were completely underwater. It was rather insane. I mean, they had like full on trees floating down the lake. It was pretty impressive. So like whenever we did go over the Hall, it was like, well, there's why. Like, I mean, and you're right. I haven't been over it in a couple of weeks now, but I guess it's about a week ago.
Yeah.
It's whenever I went over it the last time, and man, it was just
crazy.
going.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the coastal areas are kind of going back down. I think, I haven't been on social media. I haven't watched the news. I haven't done anything really the last 3 months besides go to work, come home, and do a little travel ball and cut grass. But from what I saw going back and forth to the coast, and we did drop my daughter off at Wilmington, so we went across the Wilmington bridges right there. It looks like it's getting back lower to normal levels down there. Probably just where they're trying to lower the water in Jordan. It's coming, that Hall River underneath that is still pretty high. But I know there's another one spinning up out there because at work I do the logistics now for this oil company, and we have to deal with ships and barges on several different levels. And so I know all the marine logistics people were talking about those are going to get delayed with this next storm as well. But I haven't went and looked. I've just been going off of the dates they've been giving me. But I'm sure there's going to be several more that impact us this fall. But that'll just get the backwater right for some ducks, because we're gonna knock some of those down this year. I've had a couple years off, and I really hadn't talked about that much because this is the Faith and Fishing podcast, but it can be the Faith and Hunting podcast every once in a while too. So we're going to get into some ducks this year too. So it's been a couple years since I really got into that heavy, but I already have some stuff on the books and in the back of my mind that we're going to make happen. So
nice.
So that backwater should be right with the water that's here now, plus the rest of the stuff we'll get this fall. And this morning was a cool reminder that season is getting near, because when I went out at 4:30 this morning to let the dogs out, this was the first morning that it was cooler outside than it was in my house. And I stepped outside and I was like, hey, fall, how are you doing? Because you're right around the corner now. We usually don't get these days, even now at the end of August, you usually don't get a day like that until like the first or second week of September. and then you get that first day where it's cool. But that day was today, and we are just in the we're in the third week of August now. So that was a welcome, cool breeze this morning.
Yeah.
And it stayed nice all day. It was one of the nicer
Yeah.
August days I can ever remember for North Carolina.
Agreed. Yesterday wasn't too bad either. But yeah, I agree. But I mean, we deserve it after the July that we went through.
No doubt. Yeah.
I mean,
July was hot, no rain, and then at the end of the month it was rain all the time. For the past 3 or 4 weeks, it's done nothing but rain.
Man, the heat was so oppressive for so long. Like, just like coming home and feeling like I jumped into a lake, like just feel swampy from just sweating all day, having to get up on roofs and doing stuff. And I swear at work it feels like this summer at least one tenant per week has called saying that their HVAC has gone out, and it's like, we aren't HVAC techs, but we'll come see if we can help.
Yeah. For a minute until I start sweating really bad, and then we have to call the professionals, the HVAC professionals. You guys are professionals, just not HVAC professionals.
I mean, it was like you walk in and they're like, "Man, what happened to you?" It's like, I walked in from the truck.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was just miserable. Like, heat indexes, and like we ended up, Raleigh broke the record one day. I'm trying to remember when it was, but it was the highest recorded temperature in Raleigh history at 106, I think it was, and then the heat index was the highest recorded heat index we had at 118.
Oh wow.
At the airport. So it was, and that was a Saturday, and it was my Saturday to work. And I spent most of it up on a roof.
Nice.
Yeah. 0 out of 10 stars. Do not recommend.
I hear you.
All right, man. Well, if you did not have anything else to kind of cover, I think we've got a couple what's your favorites to get to.
Let's do it.
It's time for What's Your Favorite, powered by Nakwa Adventure Gear. Power that fits in the palm of your hand.
All right. So I've got kind of a double header here. All right. So your favorite list of condiments for a hot dog, and your favorite for a hamburger.
Hamburger's easy. That's none. I've always eaten my hamburgers and cheeseburgers. Now, I don't really like hamburgers. It's got to have cheese on it.
Okay.
But other than cheese, and I don't think that really counts as a condiment, I'm a plain cheeseburger guy. Now, I will tell you the reason for that, because when I was little and we would go through the drive-thru occasionally at Burger King or McDonald's, and I could not stand the way that the toppings and the condiments came out all hot. So when you get a burger at either one of those places, especially when I was a kid, I noticed that all of the mustard and ketchup and everything is hot because they probably just nuked it all. And so I learned at a very young age that if I ordered that cheeseburger plain, that it would not only be the hottest, freshest cheeseburger, but then you wouldn't have to deal with the hot condiments. And so from when I was a little kid, I've always eaten my cheeseburgers plain. Now, having said that, in my
before you jump into
Yes.
your hot dogs, this brings up another question for me, and it's been a point of contention with my wife and I over the past 12 years or so. Should ketchup be cold?
Absolutely. Yeah, I can eat it either way, but I think cold ketchup is the way to go. However, if I go and I have ketchup packets from wherever I'm eating at and they're not cold, it does not bother me at all. So I can go either way, but if I had a choice, I'd go with the cold ketchup. So I'm kind of 50-50 on that, but I would choose cold. What are your thoughts on it, and what are your wife's thoughts?
So I'm a room temperature ketchup guy. Caitlin, it's got to be straight out of the refrigerator, and it has to be Heinz. She cannot handle any other kind but Heinz.
Yes, I'm not a Heinz only person. I grew up. We probably had more Hunt's and off-brand ketchup than we did Heinz. I was in the restaurant business for a long time, and we did use Heinz all the time. So
I will say Heinz is a superior ketchup.
It is, but
I'm not going to keep you from eating it if it doesn't have Heinz on it.
Yeah, no, I'm good with either one.
I'm mixing it with Texas Pete anyway.
Yeah, and the finish on the burger side, I was going to say now though, if I have like cold lettuce and cold onions, I can even do some ketchup and mustard on there. But it's you cook the burger and then you put all the cold stuff on top, and then you eat it, and it's all the correct temperatures that it should be. I'm totally fine with that. And so now if I do have a little ketchup and mustard and the other toppings, which are not really condiments, but I would lettuce and onion are good on a burger. Tomatoes, I'm not really a tomato guy. I can eat tomatoes on salads, but sandwiches, I never liked tomatoes on sandwiches. But salads, I'll eat tomatoes on, but not sandwiches. Now, you switch gears to the hot dog, I'm ketchup and mustard all the way. But some people think this is weird as well. When I cook hot dogs, I'm putting cheese on the hot dogs as well. So I hardly ever eat a hot dog that if I'm making hot dogs, it always has a half a piece of cheese on it, and I'll just half it and make a piece of cheese go for 2 dogs. But so cheese.
So do you like the bright leaf, the red hot dogs?
Yeah, I'm good on. I'm originally from Tennessee, not North Carolina, so I'm not the bright leaf red hot dog snobby guy like some of these North Carolina people are only like it's got to be red or it's nothing. I'm good with whatever kind of hot dog. I don't care. I do now. My wife boils hot dogs, and I don't dislike them boiled. But I don't get the boiling of the hot dog because I grew up microwaving hot dogs or grilling hot dogs. Now, if I have my druthers about it, I'm putting it on the grill. Sometimes I'm lazy and I just put it into the microwave and cook it that way. But if we have hot dogs and she's cooking them, they're going to be boiled hot dogs. So I'm good with all 3 of those, but it's grilled, microwave, boiled. You'll hardly ever see me eat a cold hot dog like I used to when I was a kid, but not anymore. That doesn't work.
So are you someone, whenever you put your hot dogs on the grill, you just putting them on there long enough to get the grill marks, or are you burning the snot out of them?
No, I turn the grill down pretty low, but I actually let them cook all the way through, but I don't like them burn on the outside. So it has to be even though hot dogs are already cooked, it has to be what I think in my head is cooked, which is, it's like, I compare it to the perfectly golden brown marshmallow. You can't just burn it and put the marshmallow in the fire and then it's still cold on the inside. Hot dog is the same way. You got to let it roast a little bit, slow, brown, maybe a little crispy on the outside, but definitely not black, definitely not burnt. Now, my wife, she likes them pretty crispy. She's going to pick, if you have a plate of hot dogs, she's picking the blackest one. No doubt about it. She's picking the most burnt one, and she likes it. So I'm okay with that because I didn't want that hot dog anyway.
I hear you.
What about you?
All right. So I guess I'll start with hamburger. So I don't have anything against a cheeseburger. Like, I will eat a cheeseburger, but my burger doesn't have to have cheese for me to enjoy it, like some people I have found. But mustard, chili, pickles, and slaw is my go-to for a hamburger.
Yeah, I see the whole slaw thing. The whole slaw thing on a sandwich that's definitely a North Carolina thing. Now it could be some South Carolina too, but Tennessee, you never see slaw on a barbecue sandwich. It just doesn't happen.
It's not a barbecue sandwich without
Well,
slaw.
I know, but that's the norm out here. If people order barbecue sandwich, most of the time, if you don't tell them you're getting a barbecue sandwich and you're getting slaw on the barbecue sandwich, unless you say, "Hey, make sure the slaw's on the side." A lot of places, North Carolina, they just put the slaw on the barbecue sandwich. But now,
if I order a barbecue sandwich and it comes without slaw, I'm handing it back to the person, being like, "Hey, you gypped me out of some slaw."
Exactly. But in Tennessee, you would never see slaw, or I've never seen slaw on a barbecue sandwich in Tennessee. That's definitely North Carolina, South Carolina. I don't know about Virginia, but and then now you say slaw on a burger. No, see, I've never heard of anybody eating slaw on a burger, and I think you said chili, but I could have heard you wrong.
Yeah.
So a chili slaw burger
with mustard and pickles.
Oh, mustard and pickles. Okay.
No, I don't do ketchup.
No ketchup
I will dip my fries in ketchup sometimes, but that's about as far as it goes for ketchup.
Yeah, that combination does not sound good. I don't like pickles anyway. No.
I don't want a burger if it doesn't have pickles on it.
No pickles. That comes from the cucumber, which is in the melon family. I don't eat any melons either. Like people, when I was growing up, thought I was crazy because I do not like watermelon. I do not like cantaloupe. I can't stand cucumbers. Like, don't even cut one near me because it will make me almost gag.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad. And now when I was a kid and we'd go to my granny's house, there'd be 3 watermelons and people would have the triangles and they're mowing down on it. I tried my hardest to like watermelon. Like I would always get one and I would try to doctor it up and finally I just gave up and was like, I just can't eat it. And so I still don't eat melons or cucumbers, and pickles the same way as cucumber.
Yeah. So Henry and I will eat cucumber straight off the vine. Like,
yeah, all my kids are like that.
We love cucumbers. Yeah. And as far as watermelon goes, like I don't mind watermelon, but I would much rather have cantaloupe or honeydew.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't like either one of those. I've grown a lot of cucumbers for them. Now we always have cucumbers in the garden. That doesn't bother me. I like to grow the cucumbers and I like to see them eat it. I just can't cut it I don't want to smell it. No, nothing.
And as far as hot dogs go, one, I cannot stand the taste of a bright leaf hot dog. The red hot dogs, I don't know what anybody sees in those things. It's just, they're not good. And I'm sorry for anyone who thinks otherwise. I have done multiple church events where I was told that red hot dogs are the only hot dogs. And so I said, well, I'm not eating a hot dog today. But as far as cooking a hot dog goes, if the skin's not split, it's not done yet.
I'm with you on that. Split's good, burnt's not good.
Now I do like some char on my hot dogs, but I've gotten it down now where I can get it to where it's cooked all the way through and the skin's split. Yeah, and then the ends have a little bit of char on it. And,
you got it. That's perfect hot dog. Yep.
I do know some people that it's like put it on there, get grill marks on it, and that's it. Like they don't even want it warm. They just want the grill marks on it.
Can't do that.
I did grow up eating the boiled hot dogs. But
yeah, that's got to be North Carolina thing too.
That was how we did it if we weren't grilling that day. But my wife and I at home, like we are either, if we're having hot dogs, it's either grilled or cooking them on the frying pan.
That's good too. Yeah.
Nowhere near hot dogs aren't healthy to begin with, but you want to make them really unhealthy, cook them in a frying pan.
We used to do that. We used to fry them and we'd cut them in half, cut the hot dog in half and then split them in half and then fry them, put them on a hamburger bun.
Yep.
That's the deal.
Yes, sir. And then as far as condiments on hot dogs go, so for a hamburger, like I can do the mustard I can do the tomato and the lettuce and the pickles. I can't do onions just because my I can't digest onions for some reason. Like I will be in severe pain the next day if I eat raw onions on a hamburger, or on anything else. But I can vary with my um, my order for hamburger. On a hot dog, there are only three things that can go on my hot dog: mustard, chili, and slaw. And I will say I can do like just mustard. I can do just chili, or I can do any combination of those two with slaw. But those are the only things I can eat on a hot dog.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I like a chili dog, but if it's chili dog, then I don't want anything else on it. Maybe I could probably eat onions on it. Onions and chili would be good. But usually I'm just, if I'm somewhere else and they have, it's just like a walk through and get your dogs and stuff. They don't never have cheese. So I'm okay with the no cheese on that. But if I'm cooking them, I got to have cheese. And then a lot of times I'll eat my dogs plain too if I'm somewhere else and I don't want to mess with the ketchup and mustard. But ketchup and mustard, that was good.
I'm not a huge fan of cheese on a hot dog. Like,
yeah, I love it.
I'm not like
I put cheese on everything.
An aversion or anything. It's just not for me.
Yeah, cheese on everything, especially reheated spaghetti. A piece of American cheese melted on reheated spaghetti. Oh my gosh!
You know it
doesn't get any better.
I don't know if you ever watched the Lord of the Rings movies, but whenever Sam is cooking the rabbits and Gollum is like running around going, "It ruins it! It ruins it!" That's how I'm feeling right now with this spaghetti.
No, cheese doesn't ruin anything. It only makes things better. So I had my favorite question too, and it was, I'm gonna do two questions now because my first question was another food question, which I feel like we just talked about food because we did. So I'm going to go, and these don't have to be super long, drawn out answers. So I came up with another what's my favorite. I don't think we've done this one, but I could be wrong because we've done that before. We're like, oh yeah, we answered that question. But what has been your favorite vacation spot? And it could be from now or childhood, either one. Favorite, most memorable, however you want to do it. What's the one that sticks out in your head?
So for me, like thinking back, like the one we went to the most in my childhood was Oak Island, and at the time it was Long Beach.
Yeah.
That was like, whenever I think of going to the beach, those are the memories that come back to me. So that's probably like I have really fond memories of that as a kid. Now I'm not a huge beach person. I love the coast and what it has to offer in terms of in terms of like the towns and the food and
right.
the
every
town has a little museum, and like there's so much. Like I love the nature side of it, like the different parks and the swamps and the forests and stuff. I just don't like the beach part of it.
Right. Yeah, no, I get that. I love the beach part of it. So I'll tag on what you said, and Oak Island is quickly becoming one of my favorites just because we get to go there more now. But when I was a kid, we took a 2-week trip with another family in an RV, and we went from around Nashville, Tennessee, and we took I-40 all the way out to California, up the California coast, and then came back on I-64. It was a 2-week round trip journey, and the dads drove at night, and every day when we woke up, we were at a new destination. And it was almost like one of those National Lampoon vacations. Like, okay, kids, get out. Oh, yes, it's Grand Canyon. Okay, get back in. It's time to go. But there were several good memories of that, and that is probably will always be my top vacation. And one of the highlights of it was driving through Death Valley, and they had one of those racks on the back of this camper, the little steel racks where you can put a cooler and you can put some other things on there. And we were going through Death Valley, and then it sounded like cannons going off. Boom, boom. And the guy pulls over the RV, and we pile out of the RV. And of course, it's like a movie scene. It's like there's nobody. You look one way, there's no cars. You look the other way, there's no cars. It's a 2-lane, middle of the road. Cactuses are beside the road. And we go around to the back of the RV, and they had a 6-pack of Dr. Peppers in glass bottles. And those Dr. Peppers got so hot that they started exploding one by one. And that's what the cannon sounds were the Dr. Peppers exploding. And as a kid, I was probably 8 or 9 years old, something like that. That was the coolest thing, that it got so hot that it exploded those Dr. Peppers on the back of that RV. So that was mine. And then my original one, which was the food one, was your favorite meal. If you get to pick your meal, my wife does a thing every week before we go to the grocery store, and she makes all the kids pick a meal or 2 meals, and then I pick 2 meals because she gets tired of picking what we're going to eat, and then she makes her grocery list off of the meals that we pick. So it's always a big thing on Sundays. I'm trying to think of what we haven't had in a while, what I like. So that was going to be my original "What's your favorite?" question, which if you got to pick your favorite meal that you or your wife or your mom made or whatever, what meal would that be?
Oh, there's no contest. It's spaghetti. Spaghetti with meat sauce.
Yeah.
There's no contest.
With meat sauce with meatballs added, or just meat sauce?
Like meat sauce. We never did meatballs growing up. That, like, I've had it in restaurants and stuff and at other people's houses and stuff, but I just prefer the meat sauce.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's no contest. It's that, like, growing up, that's what I asked for birthdays.
No kidding.
Yeah. Like that was the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one, because I
saw a funny thing online the other day that it was like, I was born a male. I identify as bearded male, but according to Stouffer's lasagna, I'm a family of 4. That's me when it comes to spaghetti. Like,
yeah.
I will have a big pasta plate and fill it,
Go downtown on it,
and then go back for seconds.
I hear you. Yeah, spaghetti's good. But I swear spaghetti's better the second day after you reheat it.
See, that's what my wife says too, but she grew up on baked spaghetti, and I'm not a baked spaghetti.
No, I don't like baked spaghetti. Ours we normally do with meat sauce, and then we put meatballs on the meat sauce, and then the next day when you put that slice of American cheese on it and remelt it and heat it up, that's when it gets really good. So I know the next time that you have spaghetti, you're going to try that. I have faith in you.
So I will say, whenever I do reheat spaghetti, I usually do put some cheddar cheese on it, or some mozzarella, or something like that.
Yeah, cheddar works too. I'm hooked on American in it, man. It's good.
But yeah, spaghetti does reheat well.
It does,
but nothing beats that first night.
Really, you think? I like it both. I like spaghetti. If I had to pick one, though, it wouldn't be spaghetti. It would be just a steak baked potato, and you can add a salad if you want. You can leave the salad off. My wife likes to add a salad just because she's more salad, and she'll eat the potato and the steak, but it'll usually be a small portion of potato and steak and more salad. And I'm the large portion of everything: the salad, the steak, and the potato. But it's hard to beat a steak and a baked potato.
That's a solid.
Yeah.
No complaints here if you serve me that. Now I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask how you like your steak cooked.
Oh yeah, everybody. We all eat it medium rare. My kids too. They're all medium rare. But most of the time now, if I go to a restaurant, I'll tell them medium. A lot of times, if you go to a restaurant now and you ask for medium rare, a lot of times it'll come out. I found rare. It's hard to get them to cook it a true medium rare. And I don't like a rare steak. I like a medium rare, cool red center is medium rare. If you get to the warm pink center medium, I'm okay with that. But when you get to the hot pink, and then to me, you just lose the whole quality of the piece of meat at that point. Now, I'd still take a well done steak over a lot of meals. So, you know what I mean? I mean, a well done steak beats a cheeseburger to me. So,
I don't know that I can agree with you on that one.
yeah,
See, I grew up, so my family, whenever we go out to eat, like they would, like my dad would say, well done, no pink. My mom would order extra well done. My sister would order well done. And I would order well done because that's how I was told you eat steak.
yeah.
I went to a friend's house one time and he said, "How do you like your steak?" I said, "Oh, I eat it well done." He said, "Well done." I said, he said, "Well done. You're going to have medium rare today." And, and I tried, I was like, oh my gosh. And so I endured countless comments from my family about how disgusting it was and everything, having to watch me eat a bloody piece of meat. And I'm like, it's not blood. It's not blood. They drain all the blood out of the animal before they butcher it. But yeah, so my like perfect spot is like on the medium side of medium rare or on the medium rare side of medium.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I typically order medium at a restaurant as well, but if I go and like I'm at somebody's and they're standing in front of the grill, ask them how I like it.
Medium, that's
Medium
right.
rare.
Medium rare, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, if I'm cooking it, it's going to be medium rare, but that's a lot of I've cooked a lot of steaks. So a lot. I couldn't even begin to count. There are nights where the whole grill of the restaurant would be full of steaks, and you get pretty accustomed pretty quick to how they look, how they feel when they're different temperatures. So it's pretty interesting, the whole gamut of how people order steaks. But
yeah, so my father-in-law is like, my wife will not order a steak at a restaurant because she grew up eating her father's steaks, and she knows there's no steakhouse that can touch it.
yeah, it is true when you get used to a certain way they're cooked.
And man, I go into their house and like if it was steak night, and he would do the cowboy ribeyes, where it was like he would cook like one like 32-ounce ribeye on the bone, and we all went and cut our piece off of it. Gosh.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Let's see. Do I have another one to go? I think that's a good place to end the what's your favorite.
Sounds good.
So yeah. Did you have any anything you needed to add to this episode? Any announcements or anything like that?
No, just keep plugging away. Let's get some episodes built up, and then keep plugging away. And I'm kind of the same as you, ready to get back into it and keep moving down the road.
For sure. I will say that. If you remember, we had Jody Thibodeau on a while back from Field Quiver Outdoors, and then we got to join him on his podcast. He has been every guest that he has them write a devotion, and I submitted mine, and his church is hosting Art Defo at a like sportsman's banquet kind of thing, and is coming to speak. And for that, he had like a little week-long devotion put together, and so mine is in that. So by the time that this episode airs, I believe he is going to have an episode where he talks, he does that devotion for that episode. And then after that, I think we're going to try to record next week sometime or sometime soon, kind of like a extension of that, and kind of go off of that and saying, all right, so what do you do if this is what you answered to the questions that were asked at the end of the devotion. So and that particular devotion will be available once they are out of once they've made it past that event. So he's going to have those available. You can go and get a PDF printed, or you can request him have it printed for you as in a book format. But I don't know what all would go into that. But, so be on the lookout for that. I would plug his event, but I saw today that tickets are gone. So there's I guess you can go and find Field Quiver Outdoors and check and see if you can get on the wait list. But as of right now, there are no tickets available. But yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out there as something to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was actually supposed to preach at a youth event down in Princeton a little while ago, but the night before, Debbie came through, and she ended up not feeling. Earlier in the week, she was like, I don't know about this one because Princeton floods pretty bad. So she that ended up not working out. But we're trying to get I'm trying to get my foot in the door more about doing speaking engagements and stuff like that. So if you're listening to this and you want to have myself come, or you can reach out to Robert and see if he can fit you in to his like 10 minutes of free time every week. But no, like that is something that I'm passionate about, and I would like to kind of get into and doing kind of outdoor theme speaking engagements and youth events and stuff like that. So if that's something that you are interested in having me come out for, definitely reach out and let's see if we can work something out. But other than that, man, that's all I've got. And I think it feels good to knock the rust off, get back in the saddle.
There you go. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good deal.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We didn't pray. Let's pray.
Go ahead. Close us out.
God, thank you for this podcast and the opportunity to come back on and kind of rekindle our love of the podcast and our love for you, and just kind of get a chance to talk about where things are going and our family things and work things and all that good stuff. Thank you for the listener. Thank you for whatever it is that they're going through, and pray that you, whatever it is that they're going through, meet them where they are and put on a show in their life. And pray that you continue to put on a show in and through us, and pray that you grab a hold of this podcast again and thrust it forward and use it for extending your glory in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Well, now that is going to do it for this episode. Y'all take care and God bless.
Thank you for listening to the Faith and Fishing podcast. please consider supporting those that support us. Jade's Jigs lead-free finesse tackle. Use promo code FNF10 at jadesjigs.com for 10% off. Save your outdoors. Stop losing your gear. Use promo code FNFP15 at saveyourautdoors.com for 15% off. Omnia Fishing. Check out Premium, Premium Pro, and their Ambassador program. Use promo code FNF10 for 10% off at omniafishing.com. And if it's your first order, use promo code FNF15 for 15% instead. Mr. B Lure Company. High-quality handmade baits made right here in the U.S. MrBLureCompany.com. Use promo code faithnfishn for 15% off your first purchase. Get outdoors, pedal, and paddle. Check them out at the shop in Greensboro, North Carolina, or at shopgetoutdoors.com for all your paddling and cycling needs. And Nakwa Adventure Gear, lighting, power, and all the connectors at nakwa.com. Please rate, review, subscribe on whatever app you're listening on. That's going to do it for this episode. Y'all take care and God bless.
That's what it is. Email info at nakwa.com and let them know that Faith and Fishing sent you.
There you go.
There you go. Take care.
Take care.